I made $3 million in just 6 months as a 20-year-old female entrepreneur, and you can too. Growing up, I was always in like the advanced classes. In high school, I was in the AP, the honors classes. And so even being separated from so many people, even starting at a young age, it definitely made me realize that I'm a little bit different. It was a little bit hard to fit in. I'm Black, I'm Hispanic, I'm Muslim. I went through so many different phases of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I remember there was a point in time where I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be an interior designer. My sophomore year, I lived with my dad. That same year, my brother Jamil lived with my dad, and we were always super close. First day I got there, he took me to his room and he showed me the stack of books that he had. And one of them was called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he's like, you got to read this book. You got to start reading. It's really going to change your mindset. It's really going to help you be successful. He had this whiteboard on his wall and it said, I will be a millionaire by 22. And in my head, like I was thinking like, where did he come up with that? Like we've never seen a millionaire in our life. Money was never something that we grew up seeing. It was never something that we were familiar with. My family never had a lot of money in any aspect. I thought that it was amazing that he had such drive and could picture a goal that seemed so far off, but to him seemed achievable. Junior year, I was living by myself. I had actually moved away from my dad's and I was living with family friends. The same year that I was living by myself, my oldest brother passed away. And when he passed away, my whole perspective on life changed. Everything, like school, the people that I hung around, what was important to me, how I was spending each day, because I really realized that life is so short. And the fact that my brother was taken at 22, I was only 16 and he was one of the closest people to me. And so I never understood why he was taken so soon. I didn't understand it. I was going through my own grieving process. It changed everything and put life into a different perspective. I really got very selective with what I was putting into my mind, the people that I was hanging around. I got very isolated. I started really just focusing on my art, on working, and really just being alone and focusing on my family. I was asking myself, I didn't see my brother before he passed away because it wasn't winter break yet, because I had to stay in school for winter break. Was school ever that important where I didn't see my brother before he passed away because I had to be at school? You could not even finish school and your life could be over. I have other things that are more important to me, my family, my time, what I want to do with my life. Because we grow up from kindergarten to 12th grade in school, we naturally rely on like who we are as a student as part of our identity. But what you start to realize is like all you're doing is giving power to someone else to tell you how valuable you are or to tell you how qualified you are. I didn't need someone else to tell me if I was worth doing a job or not, or if I was good enough to do something, because if I wanted to do something, I just had to decide to do it. And I don't need validation from someone else, whether that be a teacher, whether that be a professor, whether that be an employer, from anyone. You don't actually need validation from someone. You just have to decide within yourself that you're capable of doing it and go for it. Once I got into college and I started going through the day-to-days, I was working 2 full-time jobs. It was exhausting. I spent a lot of time doing things for other people. It was like I was doing my schoolwork for my teachers, but it didn't really make sense to me. I wasn't really understanding what I was supposed to get out of it. I was nannying to make enough money to survive, but it wasn't enough to do anything beyond that because I had to spend all my time working. One day I was sitting in class and I was listening to my teacher talk, and he gave us this huge assignment, and it was a predominantly white school, so everyone partnered up into these groups and I was just sitting there by myself. And again, I felt like I didn't fit in. I started to just wondering, what am I doing here? These assignments, these aren't helping me progress in the area that I want to progress in. They're kind of just like buffer time. They're just busy assignments to keep us busy. It wasn't really what I needed to achieve the success I wanted. And actually at the same time, I was finishing up first semester of my freshman year of college. I got an interview with this very high profile family for nannying. And I've never had an experience like that. And even when the experience came up, I kept asking myself, like, why me? Like, why am I getting this opportunity to work for such a high profile family? I'm an 18-year-old who's not even CPR certified. Out of all people, why would they pick me? And my mom kept telling me, like, that's not the right mentality to have. Like, who cares if you're 18 years old? You know that you're an amazing nanny. You know that you're caring, compassionate, that you know how to care for children. You've done that your whole life. And then I started asking myself, would I rather learn from a professor, or would I rather learn from a billionaire who has the lifestyle that I want, and I could actually learn from him in person and see his lifestyle? So at the end of freshman year, I remember we were finishing up with classes and I was listening to these tapes, and they said people who are successful make decisions quickly and they stick to those decisions. I decided right then and there, I was like, I'm going to be done with school. I'm going to drop out. And so that same day I texted my counselor and I said, please unenroll me from all upcoming classes. And she was like, oh no, like, is something wrong? Is there something I can help with? And I was like, no, thank you. Just please unenroll me. I'll no longer be attending Maryville. If I'm not going to go to school, I have to figure out how I'm going to be a successful entrepreneur. I started reading books. I started watching YouTube videos. I was doing cosmetology. I learned how to do nails completely by myself. So after trying e-com, drop shipping, trading stock options, I finally started Airbnb, and Airbnb actually went amazing for me. I started off by renting. I actually didn't own any properties. I now have 11 Airbnbs that I rent. And even from that, I learned how to do rental arbitrage. And at first I didn't really understand it fully, but I was learning as I went. I kind of went through the mistakes, the learning curves, figured out what worked and what didn't work. And then everyone started seeing, like, this 20-year-old girl is making 5 figures a month, making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month from Airbnb without renting any properties. And everyone started asking me, like, can you teach me? Can you help me? Like, how are you doing it? If I can genuinely help someone else and make a difference in their life through something that I learned, then why not? Me and my partner, we decided to create a coaching business. Bryson played a huge role in helping in our success with Airbnb. Even even changing my mindset from when my brother first passed away, I was grieving a lot. I was really sad. When I met Bryson, he really helped me realize that you have to have a positive mindset if you want to attract positive things. Everyone started asking a ton of questions. So after we started our coaching business, we kind of just kept scaling and growing. We made up to $60,000 in a month from Airbnb. And then we started getting students who were also getting results. And so we started an entire coaching program. I was actually able to hire a lot of my family to work with me to keep scaling this coaching business so we could keep providing coaching to more and more students and give them more and more offers. We have done for you offers, we have mentorships, and that way there's something for everyone to learn and something for everyone to grow from. I remember when we first started our free class, I told my brother, I don't think you need to go to college, but that's just me. I promise you this month I'm going to make $100,000 this month. June of 2022, I made $100,000 in a month. That was my first six-figure month. After that, I told my brother, I'm going to make $200,000 this month. In July, we made over $200,000. Our revenue just kept increasing as we started making more and more of an impact for more people. And in October, me and Bryson, we were like, we're going to make $1 million this month. And in October, we made $1 million. November, we made $1 million. Finishing up the end of the year, we generated over $3 million from our Airbnbs and also from our coaching. The intentional actions, the positive mindset, and actually living in what you say you're going to do, that's how we made $3 million. For most of the journey, me and Bryson, we pretty much kept everything low key just because no one really understands it. And the way that we grew up, no one really had a lot of money. So imagine going to people who've never seen a lot of money and being like, we made $100,000 or we made $1 million at 20 years old. They're not going to understand. And there's just a lot of people who don't understand the concept of entrepreneurship. When we were finally able to start bringing our family in and bringing people in and actually changing their lives, I think it was so inspirational to them. What I realized is that making more money, you're not a different person. You're the same person, but it gives you so much more freedom and it gives you so much more opportunity. So for me, I've been able to work with my whole family and now inspire them and show them that there's so much more. And this is, even them working with me now is just a stepping stone for what they can do and give them more time freedom so that they can do those things. Even being an entrepreneur and being a female or being a minority, it's definitely different. People look at you different. I walk into places, no one knows I have money, and they look at me, they kind of brush me off because they wouldn't think that I have money. Or I walk into a business setting with Bryson and they immediately talk to Bryson because they don't think that I have anything to do with the business. They just think that I'm there. But what they don't know is that I'm actually a female entrepreneur. And just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you can't be driven, that you can't be outspoken or say how you feel. If you have a dream, go after it and chase it. Don't let the people that surround you, don't let people that you grew up with, don't let your parents, don't let society tell you that it's not okay. I think a big thing is learning who to listen to, because what I learned is that everyone has an opinion, but if they don't have what I want or they don't have the lifestyle that I want to live or hold the same values as me or the same morals as me, as much as I love them and as much as I respect them, it doesn't make sense for me to listen to them because they don't have what I want. And so what I would tell my younger self would be think bigger and learn who to listen to. And then not just that, but it's okay to be yourself. You don't have to feel scared if you don't fit in. You don't have to feel like you have to conform to society or to what people want you to be. Each day that you're intentional, little by little, even when you don't know it or when you can't see it, you're building the life that you want. You have to know what you want and be intentional behind it every day, and it'll come to you.